Hello and welcome to Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Tia Young. Today we bring back a returning guest who is the founder of Intuit Learning, LLC. He has multiple engineering degrees and has developed a learning system that facilitates STEM for all ages. Intuit Learning, LLC prepares students academically for the collegiate environment, Silicon Valley, or for starting their own Silicon Valley. All they need is a laptop. Our guest has brought along two exceptional former students who have been an active part of Intuit Learning, LLC. And we are going to learn more about each of our outstanding guests right now. Please welcome Ronnie Desgupta, founder, Intuit Learning, LLC, Colin Sharps, a freshman at Bridgewater College, and Zach Schuler, a freshman at Western Carolina University. Welcome, gentlemen. Did you guys swim in today? You're awfully wet. Or did you take a shower, quick shower? Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, God forgot to turn the faucet off this morning.
He forgot to turn the faucet off.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot to cover today, so we're going to get started. Ronnie, let's start with you. You're the founder of Intuit Learning, LLC. Tell us about the mission of your organization and some of the major goals.
Okay, so the overall mission is to prepare students for all walks of life, either make them college ready for STEM, or make them ready for the workforce, or make them ready to be entrepreneurs and programming and high-tech programming like Silicon Valley. And in fact, I just want to boast, I was going to do this later in the show, but I just want to boast that they know this student, Matthew Heller. Okay, so he is a rising junior, and he took two of my classes that were Python 2 and then some JavaScript classes, and he's actually coding as an intern at a high-tech company right now. So it's, what high school students do, they file papers, right? He's actually coding their stuff.
Right, that's right.
And he did everything that he learned from our classes. So this is kind of the proof of concept that I wanted so that people can get employed or go to college or do both right away.
Right. Well, that's very impressive. Colin, now you are a recent graduate of Highland School in Warrenton, Virginia, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and I understand that you will be attending Bridgewater. We talked about this early in the show. This fall, majoring in computer science and minoring in biochemistry. And I know that, we're a long time off from 4 years from now, or 6 years if you go to grad school.
Yeah.
But what are your career goals right now? What do you think?
So as of now, I just love biology. So, and then after I took his course, I started to develop a love for computer science. So I figured, why not mix them in college? So I'm doing biochem and computer science. And hopefully after 4 years, I could go on to some kind of master's, maybe dabble in some engineering.
Okay, all right. So your love for the programming came from after you took Ronnie's class?
Yeah, so I had done a little bit of HTML, so like computer websites. So it started as a requirement we had to take for a certificate at school, but as we were doing the class, I realized how much I liked writing stuff and then watching it come to life on a computer.
Right.
So it just helped me see that.
Great. Zach, now you are also a recent graduate of Highland School in Warrenton, Virginia.
Yes, ma'am.
You are going to be attending Western Carolina University in the fall, majoring in electrical engineering. What are your career goals?
So I've always wanted to be an engineer my entire life, even though until recently I never really knew what that meant. And kind of like Colin, I just want to get my my master's at some point, and then just go and become an engineer afterwards.
Wow, impressive. Thank you. Well, Ronnie, I was so impressed with the videos that you sent to me.
Oh, thank you.
I kept trying to see how I can cut the first one a little shorter so we'd have more time to talk. But I just wasn't able to do that because I wanted our audience to really view that wonderful introductory video. So we're going to do that right now.
Sure. My name is Ronnie Desgupta, and I'm the founder of Intuit Learning.
My name's Ed Vall, and my company is Verde Sources, and I was introduced to Ronnie Dasgupta about 1.5 to 2 years ago.
My name is Kevin Feifley, and I'm 20 years old. I'm a student of computer science at George Mason University, and I've been working with Intuit for about 1.5 years now.
I founded Intuit Learning based on my experiences and struggles with engineering, computer science, and math. And I wanted to make sure that others did not share in the same struggle so that they understood the basic principles behind it and how it applies to the real world.
The students actually are applying their skills, so they're not only learning coding, they're also learning problem-solving skills, which help them with their SATs or any other standardized tests.
I think Intuit Learning is great in the way that it captures students and engages them.
Part of Ronnie's classes is he's presenting problems, but he doesn't tell them how to solve the projects or problems. He's getting the students to creatively come up with the solutions.
Intuit Learning is very important because what we're trying to address is that the nature of engineering, the nature of computer science, the nature of mathematics, it's very rigorous in the collegiate environment, in university environment, and even in industry. So our objective is technically to take a student, wire the brain, so that this esoteric and advanced curricula is very natural and flowing.
Hi, my name is Shirley Liu, and my daughter's name is Jay Liu.
Yes, my name is Wahid Kugiani, and I have 2 kids here.
As a parent, you always look out for the future for your kids to get as much education as you could.
We came here and my kids were so happy to be in the class.
The uniqueness in this class is that it's hands-on, and the teacher works very closely with her.
I really enjoy how Intuit Learning goes into greater depths to teach me about computer science and the different programs, like how to make a website.
Java, JavaScript, HTML, which to me was pretty amazing.
I think it's fun because we're learning something higher than our level.
Like creating sizes and also like creating different colors about the text.
We did only 2 days and they learned a lot.
It's really exciting for me.
I'm happy with it.
Ronnie, that was a great video.
Oh, thank
How
you.
long did it take you guys to put that together?
It took about 2 hours of filming actually to get a 2-minute video.
Wow.
So I kept screwing up because I was like, that was my first video. I was like, oh my God, I was so scared. And then they edited it and made me look good. I was like, okay, well, that's not to be
Not so
scared
bad.
of.
Okay, well, let's keep moving along. Now, when you and I were talking, Ronnie, you mentioned the word Python, and the first thing I did is say, where? Let's get out of here, because I'm thinking snakes, so that shows you how much I know.
Yeah.
Later, I learned that you were actually talking about a computer language. So talk to us a little bit about Python, because I know nothing at all.
So Python is there's many computer languages, Java, JavaScript, Python, C++, they're just different names. So Python is actually very easy to implement, and it's a great teaching tool to learn programming. Plus it's used in cybersecurity, it's used in games, it's used in the web, and it's used in multiple facets. So that's why we just started off with Python. But they could learn another computer language, it would be the same thing, but we just found that was the best.
Okay, so cybersecurity.
Yeah, so
how,
hacking.
How is it? It's
Okay, so the way Python works, Python is the default language for cybersecurity. So if you understand Python and you understand it well, then you can train people to defend from cyber attacks. So this is actually very important that people learn how to do cyber defense.
Okay, so the courses that you are teaching, are they for, say, people that are, say, from 15, an adult? Because I can't imagine 5 and 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds could even go to your school.
Well,
what do you say?
Well, we have different layers. So
Okay.
we have a computer essentials layer, we have an aspiring tech layer, and we have a Silicon Valley layer. And within these layers, there's sub-layers, right?
Okay.
So there's actually a path, a career path that they want to choose down the road. They would go into these courses. So we just had an introductory computer science course, but if they want to go into cybersecurity, they could.
Okay.
But we draw a career path to cybersecurity and show them how it operates.
So I have an 8-year-old, not really, I really don't have an 8-year-old, but if I had an 8-year-old, where would that child start in your class?
It's pretty young. We would probably say middle school, 6th grade. So they would start with, we have a fun Python program that's less challenging than these guys faced, right? They can tell you some stories from there. So we've proven that in a fun way. And then once they get past that, there's a second layer and a third layer and a fourth layer, right? Or they can take another branch for animation, which would be developed, or they can do fun digital media that we're developing, right? So these are all tied in together. How do they want to start?
Okay, so each age group is a level, and that level has sub-levels within it.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, all right, that's good. So my next question is for, actually it's going to be for both Colin and Zach, but I'll start with Colin. What did you actually learn from the class? Because it sounded in the introduction like, you hadn't really thought that much about it, but after you took the course, you really got excited.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
We started with this thing called Turtle, which is like a little
turtle, like
turtle.
Slow turtle.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it's this little cursor that comes in a window, and it was very basic at first. Like T.move will move it on the screen, and then we ended up learning how to do shapes, how to make colors in those shapes. And one of the first challenging projects we did was we had to make a neighborhood, and so we had to use triangles and squares to make the houses, then rectangles and circles to make the trees. And then we had to color them in. And so that was like blending everything that we had done. Okay. So that was fun. And then we moved on. Towards the end, we did animation. And so actually, Zach and I worked on our final project was we had that same neighborhood, but we animated a sky over it. And so the sun started down here, and it moved across the sky. Wow. And as it was moving, the sky changed colors. So it was like a little short animation. Wow. It was pretty fun.
Zach, what about you? What did you actually learn from the class?
So starting the class, I have never had any programming class before this, so I had zero knowledge going into the course about programming. And as soon as the first course started, I enjoyed it because it's just something completely different. And how the class progressed, it was always kind of challenging because it's just something new, and I never really kind of knew what was going on until I practiced and learned the concept. And it was really fun because we're doing a lot of fun things like working with shapes and different programs and like moving things around on screen and stuff, and then all you're doing is just typing words out, and
wow.
It's just really fun.
This is a question I have for both of you too. What would you tell a student who has never taken, just like you, and never taken a course like this? What would you tell them to encourage them to take the course?
I would tell a person to at least try it the first time, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. But if they do, just to kind of keep an open mindset and just keep working at it and trying new different things. And you can look up on the internet and find a bunch of different stuff that you can do with all that, and just kind of play around with it.
Colin, what about you? What would you tell?
I would say definitely to try it because, as Mr. Desgupta mentioned, there were different levels or different subcategories of the course. So, for example, we did do animation and stuff, but then in the middle there we did some, we basically made a library of math functions, and so we could enter any number or any sequence, and it could graph it, it could find the derivative, that kind of stuff.
So calculus problems in
yeah,
class.
Right.
So
okay.
You could either be artistic or math-based, and you could find something to do.
Okay, very good. Colin, I have more questions about that. I'm interested in learning about the difficulty or the easiness of the course. So we are going to take a short station break, but we'll be right back after these important announcements. So don't touch that dial.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block with our special guests, Ronnie Desgupta, founder of Intuit Learning LLC, and two former students, Colin Sharps and Zachary Schuler. Before we went to the break, I had a question that I wanted to ask both of you, because I know Ronnie can be a taskmaster over here.
Yeah.
I want to know how hard or how easy was that class? If you can talk a little bit about And we'll start with let's start with Zach.
You already got A's, so you know I already gave the grade, so you don't have to feel pressure anymore.
For me personally, I would say it was definitely a consistent amount of difficulty across the course, and I feel like with all of our classmates, there's like one thing that was very difficult, but we would kind of all come together and like try to solve it. And like there's this one thing called for loops, which is basically you make a loop to where it'll do a command a certain amount of times, and just writing it out is kind of is a really complicated concept of understanding it. But I think Colin would probably say that we accomplished that task pretty well.
Okay, good. Colin?
Yeah. Well, regarding those for loops, our class was 5 people, and so we struggled with these for loops because the most confusing thing is that it starts at 0 and not 1. So when you're counting how many times you want it to do, you have to keep that in mind. So a few of the people in the class were struggling, so we kept doing more and more for loops. And I think we, as our class, we worked together to explain it to the ones that weren't understanding. And so we got over it eventually. I think that was the first big roadblock and difficulty we had. And then after that, it was pretty smooth sailing for a while. And then we hit while loops.
For loops, while loops.
It's very algebraic. It's very algebraic.
I was going to ask about the math.
It's very algebraic.
Yeah, very. So while loops are like the same sort of thing. It's going to keep doing what's in that loop until whatever you put in the parameters comes true. So for example, you could say while x equals 1, do this. And until you set x equal to something other than 1, it's going to keep doing that.
Wow.
So that was another abstract that was hard for us to think of. So once again, I think with that we did group projects, and the groups helped because we had 5 people, so we split it up. And in each group there was one person who really understood it that could explain it to the others in the group. So, and then the final project, Zach and I worked together on that one.
Tell us about that project. Zach told us a little bit about it, but can you be a little bit more specific?
It's another loop.
It was not.
There's another loop.
There's more to it than that.
Zach, tell us a little bit about that project that you all did.
So basically, we tried to make a animated sun go across a neighborhood. So we were basically just making an animation, and what we would do is we try to make a sun to where it would move across the sky, and then correlate it with the sky fading into 3 different separate colors to resemble like a sunrise, and then high noon, and then sunset. And then make it as smooth as possible to make it look like it's moving in real time, opposed to basically like actual pictures. And we basically would just use like for loops and while loops and a bunch of like very specific commands to make it happen. And it's all about just basically putting everything in the right amount of order and just all the words and cross all the T's, dot all the I's, make everything perfect.
So do you get a grade or do you get a certificate?
How
do you measure that?
So for our class, we had to present. So it was our class, our teacher, and then a couple of the robotics kids came in along with the upper school principal. They came in and we presented our projects to them. So we talked about it first, and we actually let them see it. So I think, if I remember, it's been a while, the project was graded, it was half. So part of it was based on how accurately you did what you were supposed to do, and then part of it was also based off how you presented.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah.
So Ronnie, as an instructor and as an entrepreneur, talk a little bit about that. How are you able to move from one, entrepreneur into the instructor, and because you're actually on site teaching? Right?
So yeah, that's a good question. So we started, I actually did this for fun. So I actually used to do a lot of charity work, and I'd spend hours tutoring. So I would spend this time. I was like, well, I really enjoy this, right? This is really kind of fun. I'll do other things that other people wouldn't. So as an on-site instructor, this was actually taught for credit at their school.
Okay.
So I was on site once, twice a week, And then we created a back-end cloud system in our website so they can log in and review the course, right? So then the next stage is to go, if we have to go online totally and just teach from Skype, right? Or some sort of remote system, and then everything is kind of backed up on the slides and the videos are already backed up, so they can always review what they learned in class.
Okay.
Yeah. So we want to be able to access more people with the same material.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are the kids taking a course from you? How does that prepare them for going on to college, or does it?
It actually the focus of the course was design engineering computer science. Design the challenges of engineering computer science. Engineering and computer science have a high dropout rate. Okay.
Because in college?
In college, extremely. It's about, I would say, a 40% dropout rate, failure rate.
You're kidding.
No, that's why we have a problem. Because they don't explain anything. You're supposed to know it. You're supposed to figure it all out. And it's all magic, right? Professor signs.
Wait a minute. I'm still at the 40%.
Yeah.
40% dropout?
It's about 40% failure dropout, yes. Even
In
if you have computer science and engineering, yes.
Wow.
Physics, yes. Those are the applied math subjects, yeah.
And so your course is designed to help alleviate that?
Yeah, so the series of the courses are really whatever they had in the college semester. That's what I did for the whole year. But we made the projects less abstract and more applied towards animation or the real world, right? That's the difference. So the whole thing is completely reconstructed so that you're going to do the same thing when you get there, but it's a lot easier to understand.
Okay.
So we want to be able to, when you go through these programs, not be victimized. Oh my gosh, this course is so hard. I'm going to drop this major. I myself, and I'll testify to this. I made 2 Ds in an F1 semester. And I called my dad. I was like, I'm dropping out of school. And once you hit that low point, it's so hard to get back out of it. Because everything you turn in, you get a C, and then another C, and another C, right? And I'm like, well, that's not the way to do things. We have to find different ways to get people to become more successful, right? Enter the workforce, create their own jobs, right? Create their own patents, and then even go into PhDs if they want to go into. So you give people options, right? And all you need is a laptop. So you can be remotely connected and still work. You can be in a rural community where they have no access to anything. You can still log in, and you're still getting paid a lot of money.
Ronnie, talk about the entrepreneurial side of it.
So the concept of the entrepreneurship is really at the highest level. We call it the Silicon Valley package, right? And they experienced a little bit of it, but there's multiple layers to this, obviously. And our position and Intuit Learning's position is that if you cannot get a job, you have to create your own job. That's how the market works, right? So, and you can do this, and the easiest way to create your own job, you can get a bank loan and start a restaurant or a business, but that requires capital. Put your house up, for a mortgage.
For mortgage, right.
That's a hard work,
Yeah.
But if you know how to code, use your laptop. Look at Uber Cab.
Yeah.
Look at Facebook.
That's right.
Dorm window started with an equation, right? WhatsApp, right? The WhatsApp stuff we have. These are worth billions now. YouTube, here we go. So why can't everybody learn this, right? We're so focused on, let's say, grades, right? And grades are important. And I got to make an A, and I got to get my degree. Let's just learn it. Just learn it for learning's sake, and then start applying and see, oh, what a great idea. Let me do this, and then transform and innovate in a different direction.
Right. That, to me, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we don't have much time left, but I do want to ask this. I'm hearing on the news about how employers are having all kinds of hard times because in the area of IT and computer programming, that people are not ready anymore.
Not ready.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so there's no short-term solution for it, right? They're giving 12-week boot camps. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
It takes a long time to learn it, right? Or they're giving something that's too elementary. That doesn't work because you have to experience. There's areas you have to go through that are there are challenges, and you have to overcome these challenges. And I'm there to help, right?
Right.
So this is an issue where it's not really for the very smart, but it can be for everybody. And what I really want to do, and I'll just say this short, is really go into correctional systems, right, and drop that recidivism rate. so they can employ themselves. That's really what I want to do.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you, Ronnie. I also want to thank you guys. I'm really impressed. I'm really proud of you guys.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
want you to come back and tell us next year, you know, how things are going and what you're doing on that end. So thank you so much for coming and joining us. Thank you for watching this segment of Rock Your Block. Please stay tuned after the closing of this show and watch a very compelling 1-minute video entitled The Challenge. And it's outreach to anyone who wants to learn how to code. Thank you, Intuit Learning LLC, for this captivating video. Folks, we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
What is your coding background before you came in? This is for both of you. So whoever wants to go first.
I had no experience with it
Okay.
at all. What's about?
Okay.
But now I know the basics.
And now what do you think? You know, now what's happening now?
Now I could do a little. I could do a little bit of dabbling in it, and I know how to insert things on a web page.
Okay.